Mr. Rohit Sadaphal. Mr. Rohit Sadaphal is Senior Member for Digital Transformation and Experience Management at Tata Motors. Earlier, he worked as Program Manager for Digital Transformation, Innovation and Sustainability associated with the Executive Director Office at MCIE Automotive. Mr. Rohit is PG in Advanced Digital Manufacturing and Smart Factories from the Indian Institute of Science, Bangalore. He specializes in innovation management, digital transformation, circular economy, sustainability, project management, and change management. He also did a master in sustainable urban development from TERI School of Advanced Studies. Previously, Mr. Rohit was a senior planning engineer at L&T, creating digital tools for data sourcing, traceability, and analysis. Today, Mr. Rohit will discuss engaging ease of manufacturing with hyperautomation.
We would like to showcase where hyper automation goes. And from the Gartner hype cycle curve, we can clearly understand that hyper automation is here to stay for the next 10 years, so decade. It's just a start we are at now. So people are still exploring the RP implementations for different processes in manufacturing. In my context, I'm restricting my entire discussion to manufacturing. That's where I come from. So I have insights from manufacturing only. So RPA is now being initiated mostly for the functional processes, yet to get into the OT side of the processes when we talk about the operational things like connecting the machines and getting the data and automizing the things. Not just that thing, but automizing, but building an engine over it and getting automated insights or making the machine cyber physical equipment. That yet to happen, but with the foray of 5G in India, we believe soon we are no distance away from going into cyber physical mode and at least starting experimenting with the cyber physical systems. So I'll speak on two areas. One is the challenges for hyper automation, and second is like the interventions. So when we look at the challenges, so basically we if we go by the definition, standard definition, of course hyper automation is not restricted to a definition because different areas carry different values from hyper automation. But for hyper automation, because it's a top down approach, because digital transformation is still pursued a top down approach, so that's why it is linked to it's a business driven approach to identify, wait, and automate as many as business processes that are possible to be automated. At the start, we see that if you have to go for hyper automation, it starts with RPA, and then further build on AI engine, and with the help of the number of data sets, we do the machine learning aspects and automate a lot of things. Of course, this involves intelligent process discovery and the OCR techniques and other technology things. But when you look at the challenges, what are the current challenges when it comes to hyper automation? So when it comes to automation for manufacturing, it's an IT/OT integration. So defining the boundaries to automation of things is very much required. It's not like for the sake of doing an automation, so we have to just initiate automation in any area. But for an OEM like us, when we start with automation things, we need to be pretty much clear about what is the end value that we are going to do, because not just the investments, but a lot of time goes into the efforts and pulling the teams and getting the inputs from the teams as well into doing this thing. So we should be the challenge is there are, and currently the industry is waiting that when they start with automation, so there are no defined boundaries. So for hyper automation, if someone is going, so defining boundaries is a challenge. The standardization is required for manual process, because as is process cannot be taken. Means like people do a lot of innovations on the shop floor and everything, but when you go for hyper automation, it has to be done at a scale. So one process has to be standardized, it has to fit into the entire technology cycle. Then lack of business process knowledge is also a greater challenge. Hyper automation at technology seems very fine, but when we go for understanding the process needs and automating the things, so even we see there is a bridge for the business process knowledge. Next, when we go for when we talk about the technologies, like to say about the shop floor, so there are multi-level technologies on a connected platforms, and people have done a lot of IoT things and everything. So all of the data, like as well speaker explained, is lying in silos on over HMIs or something. People are getting real-time insights, but there are no provisions to utilize this data in terms of building AI capacities. So today, the multi-level technology is also a challenge for hyper automation. How do we bridge all of the technologies together? And of course, the important thing is like lack of analytics tools. So while people are using end-on dashboards on the shop floor and everything, but for hyper automation, if the value is not just automating the thing, but actually going into continuous improvement mode. And how do we go into continuous improvement mode? Is that is with the help of data analytics. So lack of the data analytic tools in the manufacturing ecosystem is still a challenge for hyper automation. But let's see on the brighter side what we have. So when we look at the interventions, so we know that basically we have understood that RPA, AI, natural language processing, and ML are the basis for implementation of hyper automation. But if you see the process wise, the most important thing is a DTO. Now, what's a DTO? So DTO is like a digital twin. So creating a digital twin of any organization for modeling different scenarios of process helps to test, do the trial run when it comes to hyper automation, and we can earlier identify what are the shortcomings of various digital transformation automation transformation. Because when you talk about bigger size, so it's a greater shift agile processes. So it's not like people pursue that automation at times. Hyper automation is like everything should be defined at the start only, and then only the process will go as it is. Of course, when we are working in today's day, hyper automation gives a way for agile processes. So there are like we can review the process, make the decisions by bot on ongoing basis, and we can actually correct it, like the rules and the logics also as and when required. Third thing is as an imperative is analytics driven insights. So hyper automation analytics gives insight into the way the digital bots are working. Today's day, a lot of IoT devices are like or are there on the fields, but we don't know the data. We know the real time data, we know the real time anomalies generated from IoT. Have the interlocks through IoT. But how do we improve further on the IoT case? That analytics is not available. The analytics over the implementation of digital transformation, and these insights, if we are able to get through hyper automation, that itself will quickly use the ROI. I think hyper automation is that golden basket, and it's a bridge between IT and OT, where the entire ROI for an organization lies. Because most organizations start with this digital transformation because everyone is starting Industry 4.0. But eventually, when they go into the deeper things, so they feel that the ROI is not coming in everything. So I think so hyper automation is that golden basket, so that will help them to realize the ROI quickly and also go ahead in terms of continuous improvement. So while we know automation tools and package software combined with AI ML is hyper automation. So this is out of our realization. It's not just that thing. So this is the 50% of what we talk about hyper automation things. The rest four things are like design thinking, wherein we have to implement it's like that UI and UX thing for hyper automation. We have to get the design thinking involved into it, empathizing with your users, your processes, because at the end of the day, we are not eliminating the people out of this task. People will be leveraging through the hyper automation. So we have to account on them. So design thinking, agile project management, understanding ecosystem maturity, and change management as we go. We have to include all of these factors when we design a proper hyper automation for any of the processes. And that's how we can realize on the left, we can see what are the benefits out of the hyper automation that we can realize. And I think so. Most of us will agree with all of this benefits. And as we go along, I'll have more to discuss during the panel discussion. Thank you.